start easy. Okay.
What's my name? Anne-Marie.
Funny. There you go. So I put questions up. So I'm just gonna tell
Okay.
me a little bit about your background. What was you doing before you
Okay.
became a counselor?
Okay. Right. What was I doing before I became a counselor? I was in global retail management. I was head of management for one of these companies that we spend or people spend a lot of money in. Um, I started from management but worked my way up to different levels of management. And the only reason why I went there is because I finished uni and because I studied law. And then I realized that actually I didn't really want to pursue the career. I didn't like the environment and everything. So I decided to leave. I was working for Topshop at the time. I decided to leave my retail job and move to H&M. And because I was going to do coaching, I started my life coaching, and I was helping women with, just talk about issues that they're facing, how they can get into business, pursue the things that they want to pursue. And I thought, if I'm working nearer to home, then it will be a lot easier. Oh no, oh no, you are working for someone else and their money, and so you do not get time. And I was just sucked right into it, really. And so I kind of like worked my way up, and then I always decided that I would go back and train further, because I thought, what's after life coaching? So then I went into therapy. So when I was on maternity leave, I went back to school to study, and I studied part-time. Um, and then, yeah, just kept on studying part-time with my exit plan, how I was going to exit H&M. So I kept on progressing up and up the the 4 years, 3 years, 4 years that I was studying to become a therapist.
Okay, so that's how long it took you to study. So when did you realize that what you were currently doing wasn't really for you?
I always knew that it wouldn't be for me because I was always only doing it as a side thing. So it was always okay, part-time while I was at uni. It was always okay, I'm gonna do this job, make money, maybe learn about business, and have my exit strategy. I knew I wasn't going to stay there forever, but I'm the type of person that if I'm wherever I am, you best believe I am getting my worth. So whatever it is that I can, however high I can climb until there is a ceiling, that is what I will do, because you're not going to get all of my time and I don't get nothing in return. That doesn't work for me.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, and so then what would be very, very interesting then? And I'll only leave it
Mm,
up. I'll leave it up just for a little bit. So what was the path that took you um to get to where you are today? What was that path that you went on?
woohoo. Wow. Do you know what? It's been a bit of a journey, and everything that I've done in my life has led me to the path that I've taken. Like literally everything. I've always been someone that wants to support and help people, and so that's why I wanted to be a teacher. Imagine that, me, like this lockdown and having to do homeschooling. I'm like, nah, what was I thinking? Hell no. But anyhow, I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted to help, other kids and things like that, and give them an environment that was safe and stable. And my grandma said, no, you should be a lawyer. You got an answer for everything. You're always running your mouth. You should be a lawyer. I was like, okay. So then I went to law school. And this is what happens when you don't really follow your own dream. And what I wanted to do was family law, but I fell into immigration law. and that wasn't fulfilling for me, and I still wasn't doing what I want to do, which is to support families. And so I was always trying to find like another way. That's why I was running support groups and different things like that along the way. And obviously the only other thing to do was to retrain
So do you
and go
think if
back and
you went
study.
to family law, you'd still be a lawyer maybe today?
No, I no, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I don't, that environment feels very much outside of my control, and very much, and there are a lot of people, especially children, who the system doesn't actually help, and families that don't get helped by the system because of how the system is structured. And what I wanted to do is work in an environment that I can support people finding their power and recognizing that the power is within them, rather than them leaning towards someone else to give them that power, because it will never happen. It will never happen. And if someone is giving you power, then what happens when they're not there?
And then so then how was that journey? So you done it, you were doing law, you were working, you were retraining. What was that really like for people who may be at that point now in a position where they think, I really don't want to do this, but dreading the thought of retraining like you did?
Um, for me, there was no question. This is my ultimate goal. And I want to live my life with purpose and intention. Not only do I want to help support others, but really what I want to do is be the best version of myself. And in order for me to do that, that means that I have to take risks. I have to make a sacrifice, and I can't make excuses. I have every justification and excuse under the sun. I'm a single mom with two children. My son at the time when I went back to retrain wasn't even one. He was about 9 months when I went back to study. Um, and it would mean that I would have to sacrifice my wages, because I was doing, one of the roles that I was doing was an area management job. So I was going around visiting, like, you know, different stores and doing all this kind of stuff. And I had to then decide, actually, I have to be in a more stable place. So to be a step down, be a store manager instead, because then I can control my hours. So there was like a lot of sacrifices that I had to make. There were a lot there's a lot of time that I didn't get to spend with my children at that point. And I had to rely on heavy fees in nurseries and stuff like that, because I then had to do hours that started really early, like 6 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine starting work at 6 o'clock in the morning with a 9-month-old?
Wow. And so how
So
did you actually get over that? How did you deal with it?
I just decided that there was no other choice. So instead of me thinking all of the reasons why I can't do it, I found all of the reasons why to do it.
Hmm.
And when you find all of the reasons why you're going to do something, you then find how you're going to do it. Because I've got my why, right? I know why I'm doing it. And I can hold on to my why. Like, even when everything feels impossible, when I sit down and I reflect on my why, and how much freedom and how much power will be restored to me if I continue on my journey, then you realize that, okay, well, how am I going to do it? I'm just going to do it, right?
Hmm.
And that's all I did. I just decided that this is what I want, and there might be some blood, there might be some sweat, and there definitely was some tears, but I'm gonna do it. And that's what I did.
Excellent. So then, okay, so you did it, and that was really, really, really amazing.
I mean, that wasn't even the that wasn't even. I tell you something, Martha, like, you know, when you think, okay, I've did it, I've gone, I retrained, now, you know, everything's going to be all right. I'm going to start up my private practice and it's going to be great. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, no,
So we're going to
because
get to
you,
that. No, wait. We're going to get to that. Before you tell us that, I want to know, how did you know that your Empowering Mind service was your purpose? How did you know that counseling and doing was your purpose?
oh God, that is a hard question. How I knew that it was my purpose is because I wasn't going to allow any justifications and any reasons why not to get in my way. Because the more the more I invested in it, the more I was getting out of it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like, I've always said this, everything that you do in life is a business transaction, it's an investment, right? And the how you know if you're making a bad investment is if you're not reaping any rewards, right?
Yeah.
And so if I'm investing in this and I'm getting a lot of rewards, and I don't mean like monetary rewards, but
Mm-hmm.
peace within myself, feeling satisfied with the choices that I've made, seeing that I actually have more freedom to make my own choices and my own decisions, and that actually it's a real big journey of personal development, and that my life has been blessed with so much more value that I chose to do what I wanted to do rather than doing what everybody said that I should do, and really being or feeling distressed by it. To be honest, I wasn't happy working for someone else.
And that's very interesting because whilst you were trying to find your purpose, there would have been that typical monetary. Oops, nearly lost the phone. There would have
I
been a
thought that
difference.
was you that.
Can you imagine? Um, there would have been a difference in how much money you were making. So how do you balance that then? If what you really want to do, maybe it's not going to bring in as much money
of
as
course
this thing that you're currently doing.
of course, if you're gonna earn, you know, I don't know, if you're gonna earn 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year, and like it's guaranteed, right? At the end of the month, you are getting your money no matter what happens. It is guaranteed, right? When you're working for yourself, the only guarantee is you, that you show up for you, that you turn up all the time, that you turn up for yourself and you turn up for your clients. Money is not guaranteed at all. So if you're going from 40 grand job and starting your own private practice, you're gonna have a rude awakening. I had a rude awakening. Like, I had to find out, I needed now this was a real test. Like, this is what was the real test, because when you have nothing and you have no one to rely on, you have nothing to fall back on, the only thing you can count on is yourself. That was my real test. I literally had to say, at times where I had no clients, where I thought maybe I'm not good enough to be a therapist, no one's gonna invest in me, invest their money in me in order to help them. Like, I had some really I wouldn't call them dark moments, but I had some really trying times, some really sad times, some tears of really thinking, oh, how am I gonna pay my bills? Like, I need to make sure that I keep my roof over my head, that my children have food. All of the money that I had to go in keeping me afloat until I started to make money. So it's actually not one of those like easy things to do.
So that
And
leads
if I
me
didn't,
on to
yeah.
my next question, which is, what have been the pros and cons of your journey? What have been the highs and the lows of that journey?
Uh,
Let's start with the negative so we can end on a positive.
okay. Well, I'll start with the lows, but they're not actually lows. Yeah, maybe at the time, maybe they might feel a little bit like lows, but they're not actually lows, because in all of my lows have been my biggest learning curves.
Okay.
So they actually haven't been, lows. But um biggest low, um not being able to just get up and do what you want to do because you don't have the money to do that. Um Thinking that you will be more free with time. A lot of
Mm.
it is freedom, feeling like you would have more free time and more time to spread and spare, but in actual fact you have to take the work when the work comes. So you don't have, that much freedom. um what has been my what has been a low? um I think money overall was the low. um Feeling lonely, feeling alone.
Yeah.
When you're a business person, and you run in your own business, it can feel quite lonely
Yeah.
because there's not really much of a network. And that's why I started the mastermind group, because you're just kind of on your own, and you're going through these trials and errors by yourself, and you don't really have anyone to bounce it off. And believe it or not, I I'm a black therapist, and I don't know that many, or especially at the time, even though I studied with, people, but that's in my profession that has done this on their own, that can like give you that kind of like support and push.
So
No.
how did you balance it? What question comes into how did you strike a balance then in order between those lows and
Well, I'll say the highs first. One of the biggest high for me is learning about myself, like really connecting with who I am and finding my self-worth in that. That has been the biggest reward that I've gotten from going and doing what I really felt was my purpose. And the next high is that I've seen myself progress more than I could see when I was working for someone else. So even though I was, stepping up in the world that I was working in, and I was getting paid for it, um, being able to see that actually I'm doing this on my own, and I can see how my business is developing, that has been like a great high. That actually, you know what, this wasn't just a dream. Actually, this is my reality, and I can do it. So that's been a big high. How did I balance? I have I have a journal.
okay.
I try to journal almost every day if I can in the morning when I wake up, because I just write down my thoughts. And now I've realized that my thoughts have become a lot more positive and open. So rather than, oh, I don't have, oh, this is really bad, this is like sad, it's more of, oh, this is a window of opportunity. This has been great. This is what I want to do. And writing at the end of my journal, I always put three things that I'm grateful for. So no matter how low I'm feeling, at the end of my journal, three things that I am grateful for. And that always sets me up for the day. So that's one of the things how I've balanced it. And also I've got like some real great friends. Like
Mhm.
I I got some good friends. Like Martha, I got some nice friends. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. So that's been like the highlight. And I've got great kids. So I feel like that's my balance.
And that
My
leads on
family.
really nicely to my next question, which is, so how do you measure success, particularly as you identified, you said that going into this, you'll get a rude awakening and you had some lows. How do you measure success?
Um for me, it's achieving my goals. So when I
Yeah.
set myself goals, and I have big goals and I set small goals so that they're achievable. Achieving my goals is what helps me measure my success. My obviously the ultimate success, or where I want to be, where I want to be in my business, I haven't gotten there yet. But I can imagine that I am a big dreamer, and sometimes my dreams scare me because I'm like, how am I going to do that? Right? But I know that even when I get there, um, what will keep me alive is knowing that there's still more possibilities.
And now, so naturally, your area is counseling, and
Yo,
and you've mentioned through this journey some key points which kind of allude to that sort of thing. So, the point of starting that self-doubt, worrying whether or not you're good enough, and then just having those lows and how people deal with them. What would some of your advice be to people who might be on the cusp of those sorts of things going through their own journey?
always define your why, right? Like really define your why. So, and your why my tip is your why needs to start with you. So forget, I'm doing this for my kids. Forget I'm doing this for my mom. Your why. Why is it that you want this so badly? Right? Because when everything is tough and rough, right? One of the things that you don't want to be left with is resentment, right? So you don't want to do anything for anyone else because you have to do it for yourself, because you're the person who's responsible for filling your cup. And once your cup is overflowing, that's when you get like, right, I can do this for my kids. I've got all of this that I can give all these other places because I've got a cup that's overflowing, right? So I would say that my tip to everyone is to really define your why, because when it's really tough and you've got nothing to go on, your why is what's going to keep you grounded, to know that even though you can't see your the roses, the flowers, the petals, and the end of the road, and it's really cloudy, you know that you're going to get there. The fog will clear and you will get there.
So it's a really good question about the challenging seasons and impacting on your children. But adding to that is, so if you've said my why is about me, and we often feel quite bad about doing things for us. So how do I manage my feeling of guilt maybe when this why I'm doing something for me and I'm going through challenges, which also is going to impact, like you said, on my children. So it means I don't get to see them all the time, or I can't necessarily do everything because we don't have the money. But this is for me. How do I balance that?
Well, my thing is, what has guilt ever given you? Tell me, like, what has guilt ever given anyone? What has what has shame ever given anybody? Nothing. It's there to take away from you. And so forget the guilt, because you know deep down in yourself that when you fulfill your why, all the other places that you are reaching out to, like your kids, like your husband, like your friends, all of those all of their needs are going to get met.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? You can't, how can you give someone something with your cup half empty? I never understand that. If you look at your cup, right, as your whole self, right, that you want to operate at 100%, right? You want to be at your maximum so that you can overflow, right? Why would you operate from a place of 25%? There's 75% of yourself that you are not even tapping into. Now, you're doing a disservice to your children. You're doing a disservice to your friends, to your family, because you are not really living your true purpose and your true self. You're not being your whole self. So why is it that you feel that to give yourself love, to value you, that you would be taken away from someone else who's responsible for themselves, by the way? Why would you think that that's the case?
Yeah. I mean, I love that whole idea. What has guilt ever done for you? Because it's true, right? It's not done anything, and yeah, we do always try to do things from a place of weakness. So with that, then, what would you say is your key strength?
My key strength. I wonder what people would say. I don't give up.
Hmm.
Um, I can be annoying like that. If I don't know something or I don't understand something, I need to understand it,
Hmm.
right? And I don't take excuses from people. Like, tell me something else. Like, don't give me all the reasons why not. Yeah, and I'm that type of person with myself. Like when I'm having doubt or I'm going on and I'm saying, oh, all of this stuff, I'm the type of person that, okay, you need to fact check and reality check. I'm one of those people. So I'm really good at tracking. So I always hold on to the positives because that's part of my gratitude list. I always hold on to the positives, and I'm someone that I can really track things. So when I'm saying that, oh, everything is not great and it's not good, oh, everything, is
Yeah,
that possible?
yeah. That loaded language, like those that very definitive negative language that we use.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm very good at tracking, and I do it with my clients when I'm working. If you say something to me, best believe 3 months later I will remember and I will bring it back.
Well, so following on from that, so they're your strengths and they're probably a part of it, but what makes Empowering Mind Services and you, I guess, what makes you different from all of the other counselors and life coaching services that are out there?
What can't you see? Can you not see what makes me different? I'm joking. I think anybody will say this well, this is what I feel. What you see with me is what you get. I'm the same person in the chair and outside the chair, right? I mean, obviously, I can't use certain language, but I'm the type of person that I can interact at a very, social level, and also be able to be quite serious and direct at the same time. So whatever you see with me is what I get. I don't mince my words. Like what I'm saying is what I'm saying. And I am open to hearing someone else's point of view. I am open to understanding from their side, and I'm also really able to check myself. So I feel like that's kind of what makes me different, is that I'm really relatable. As a therapist, I feel like I'm a relatable person that you could feel comfortable talking to. Yeah.
So go into therapy, because therapy is the big dirty word. Therapy,
No, it's
mental
not.
illness, counseling, these terms, particularly in the Black community, are they're dirty words, We don't say them. Um, but it's very important that we talk about it. So I'd love to speak to you around the importance of actually having therapy, and when might we need it?
I mean, do you need a GP? Do you need a doctor? So why don't you, if you want to if you think that the health of your body is important, why wouldn't you feel that your mind is important? Your mind controls your body. Why do we do things the other backwards? Your mind controls your body. Most of the ailments that you have in your body is because of your mind.
Mm.
So why is it an issue? Why are we not checking our mental health? Just like how you would go and get, checked out at the doctors, you'd go and get checked out at the dentist, you take care of your body every day by showering, you take care of your teeth every day by brushing them. Why would you not take care of your mind?
Yeah. So, Venus just said everybody needs therapy. Can we put that out there? And I like that because I've heard of that saying that everybody is literally like an episode away from mental illness.
Well,
And so,
I mean,
so I think we have this kind of thing as though somehow if there's any form of mental I suppose it's a term as well that goes with it, right? It's mental illness. Always is negativity in, mental illness, schizophrenia, manic depression, all those negative terms are on there, but we all go through those highs and lows.
yeah, but I mean, my thing is, right, if you want, for example, if you want financial freedom, what do you do to get that? You do everything that is humanly possible so that you can have financial freedom, whether it's that you're retraining yourself, you're taking care of your finances, you're asking for support. You do whatever you need to do so that you can have financial freedom, right? Mm-hmm. So why are people not taking care of their mental wealth? Why are you not taking care of your mental wealth? Whatever that looks like for you. Therapy might not be for everyone. I obviously would vouch for it, yeah. But it might not be for everyone. But how are you checking in that you are able to sustain your mental well-being? What are you doing in order to sustain that? Right? You can't say, oh, I'm feeling really anxious about XYZ. I went through a really painful, traumatic experience. And then what do? You suppress it. Right? So you put a plaster over a wound and then go, it's all right. That wound is going to get infected and it's going to fester. That's what's going to happen. Right? Have you ever seen a baby born with mental illness? I'm wondering, are you born with mental illness? So how does that happen?
So particularly, so we get the extreme stuff, okay, but what might be the signs we look out for? Because extreme stuff is, I suppose, it's easier to diagnose, right? So somebody dies or you've gone through some very explicit trauma, whether that be, losing a child or really bad labor, and or domestic violence or things like that. All of those sorts of things, we're very clear. We can say, yeah, you're going to need some therapy. But what about the more subtle things? What might be some of the subtle things that manifest that we should be looking out for?
Negative self-talk is a major one. So many people do it. They do not think that they're good enough. They don't feel like they deserve things. Mm-hmm. They operate in pieces. So you're one way with this friend, you're one way in the workplace, and then you're one way somewhere else, and you're never operating from your full self. That is a classic sign of someone who is not congruent with themselves, and so they are in conflict, and that kind of turmoil causes ruptures not only in the relationship that you're having with yourself, but the relationship that you have with others. In a nutshell. But classic signs of just simple things. Just ask yourself, am I really happy? What are the things that are causing me discomfort? What things would I like to improve on or be better at? And that will kind of like answer your question whether or not you need support to help you get through the next stages.
And how does counseling help? Okay, so we go for this. Why do I need to go to a counselor? Why can't I just talk to my friends?
Your friends. I'm not knocking no one's friend, right? Because I got friends, right? But your friends are not a specialist. They're not equipped to manage and hold you in the way that you need. And why would you want to put that on them? You
Mm.
know, why would you want to put all of that weight on your friend's shoulder if you're struggling with it? Why would you want to do that? Do you know what I mean? Um, Also, um, the
There is said
reason why,
friends judge as well. You might have a
yeah,
bit of
friends,
judgment.
friends, friends can be judgmental. They can be biased, right? Because God, I'm sure, I think I was talking to you about this. I'm definitely sure about the triangle, for example, and how we get stuck in certain relationships and a dynamic with ourselves. So this is a prime example where you got persecutor, rescuer, victim, right? Now, all of these people, right? If you've got a friend who's a rescuer, that rescuer friend enables you to stay a victim,
Mm.
right? Because everybody else is to blame. They agree with you. They validate everything that you say, right? And so you're just staying stuck. You're just going through, ripping apart relationships, doing all sorts, and never really taking accountability. So it's never, I'm not saying don't talk to your friends. Of course you need to talk to your friends and talk to family and stuff like that. But for if you want someone to really help you, you need someone who's trained, who is not associated with you. That's why even as a therapist, I couldn't none of my friends could come to me for therapy.
Mhm.
It would be unethical
Yeah.
because I could have a biased view. And also, let's be real, do we tell our friends everything?
Yeah. We be hiding. People be hiding.
We be
They,
hiding.
we're not telling everybody the truth. Okay, so you you the journey that you went through in terms of dealing with mental health, kind of going through that process, how did you keep yourself sane?
No,
So
sorry,
you
repeat that.
mentioned so your journey through this position of what you wanted to do, the challenges of
Yeah.
retraining and then the challenges at the beginning of opening your practice. So you mentioned one of the things you did was journaling, but how else did you keep yourself
Oh,
sane?
yeah. Well, I've also gone to therapy, by the way. I mean, what therapist hasn't been in therapy? And I still tap into it when I feel like I need to, or where I want clarity and I don't want to stay in my own head with
Mhm.
things. I have a great supervisor who supervises all the work that I do and that I can bounce off ideas that I'm having or any feelings that I have about, the work that I do. Supervision is really, really good. It's really powerful, to be honest. I would recommend any professional to, if they don't have, like, in my world, clinical world, a supervisor, get a coach, get a life coach, a personal coach or a business coach, because it's a really good way, another way of really keeping yourself grounded and clear. So
Okay.
that's what I do, and I
So
spend time with my friends.
yeah,
Got to
we've
get
got
that in.
we've got 20 minutes left, and I really want to
Mm.
get some more stuff out of that. And so I would say, for you, what has surprised you the most on that whole journey? When you look back and
Um,
say, wow.
what what two things that surprised me the most? What has surprised me the most is I had some work to do with myself. Like, who told me that I am capable of just going out there and helping people? Girl, you better fix yourself.
Hmm.
So that's been one of, like, the surprises, that actually this journey of self-development doesn't stop. It's a continuous process and it will never stop. I will be developing myself until the day that I die. So that's been one of the biggest, like, awakenings for me. Um, Also, not being afraid to say no.
Okay. Hmm.
And so that you don't sign up to things or get into things that are going away from your purpose, because it's very easy when you're in this world where you're by yourself, where you don't want to struggle financially, where you want to make sure that you're making it, to just get yourself do things that maybe necessarily you don't want to do, or not realize that actually this thing has come to the end of its time and that it's time to end it in a healthy way and kind of move on. So it's being able to recognize when you need to exercise no and keep your boundaries very clear.
Excellent, fabulous. So, kind of following on from what you said
Mm,
about um, knowing that you needed to do work,
yeah.
knowing that like you needed to do work. I suppose, what were your areas of growth? So you've done that, but do you think you have any current areas of growth, and how do you achieve that growth? What is it that you do?
Of course, I definitely have, areas of growth. I mean, as a human, as any person, what you have is you know certain things about yourself, right? Um, and then there's the other side of you that people might know about you and tell you, no, you know what, this is how you are. You're like this, and you're like, am I? And you gotta check yourself, right? But
Mhm.
there's also the blind spots. That's the spots that you don't really know about yourself, and that no one knows. And so the process of journeying in your life is about discovering those things, so that you can always be, becoming a better version of yourself. So as I said before, my that will be my area of development, just really understanding myself. What really are my blind spots? Am I operating at full capacity, or am I shortchanging myself?
Yeah, that's very much true. So,
Oh, one more thing,
yeah.
procrastination. Yeah. For some reason, procrastination is a friend that I've got in my back pocket.
I think we all got that friend.
Like, it is the mother of all mothers, and we need to separate ties. And
And how does that
sometimes,
manifest for you? What is it? Like, what's the background behind your procrastination?
well, for me, and what I've probably seen others as well, is that usually procrastination is a manifestation of me avoiding something that I might be fearful about. And
Hmm.
so I dilly and dance around it, rather than tackling it head on. Um,
And how do you overcome that?
also,
That's the perfect one.
oh,
What strategies have you been using to, when you've identified Anne-Marie, not Anne-Marie, you're procrastinating, and you have that light bulb moment that says, yeah, what do you do?
what works for me is having a routine. So I was falling out of my like morning routine, and I've now, especially since the corona and COVID, but now I've just been like, right, no, I've got to have my morning routine, because in my morning routine I'm journaling, and then after I do my journal, I do my to-do list. Do you
Hmm.
know how good it feels to tick your to-do list, like tick
Yeah,
tick tick?
it
Yeah.
does. It feels really
So
good.
right, and so that's a way of doing it, because then also I can spot if the thing that why I'm procrastinating around it is because I might need support.
Yeah.
So am I reaching out to who I need to in order to support me to get through the next stage?
Okay, excellent. Okay, so a little bit about the services that you provide and your catch line, your headline. So tell us a little bit more about it, because so I'm a transformational coach, and I do business consulting, but I don't have the counselor side. I'm a very different. What's the reason that all of your negative stuff?
Sorry, you broke up. I couldn't hear you.
I said, what's your thing about empowered mind services, and particularly your headline and your phrase and about the services that you provide?
Oh, okay. So, my motto is transforming minds and supporting futures.
Hmm.
And I do that through the different aspects that I have. So I've got the therapeutic practice is a counseling practice, um, a life coaching practice, and also clinical supervision. So I
Hmm.
provide support for other therapists. I do the life coaching, which is more business, kind of like personal development, where people not necessarily feel like they're going through something difficult, but they might feel like they're stuck in making their next step, probably procrastinating. But so life coaching is really good in that way. And then obviously I've got my counseling service, which I do one-on-one counseling. I do couples and group therapy. Yeah, in a nutshell. And
And
I'm an
what,
integrative therapist.
and you're very much about this empowerment. But what's your kind of rationale behind that?
Um, the this is the thing, right? Somehow, with all of life struggles and things that we go through, we come to a place where we start giving away our power, right? And we feel that we're not, it's not possible for us to do things. But life is full of possibilities, right? And just because the road that you were going down doesn't seem like it was helpful, it doesn't mean that you can't have the same goal but go down a different road. And the whole reason why I do the work that I do is to help people find a way to regain their own power, because there's nothing more transforming than you recognizing your own power, right? And realizing that actually you're the one that holds it and no one else has it. And that if you allow all of the excuses, all of the justifications of why not, you're forgetting the big picture, which is, yes, why you should.
Yeah,
And so the reason why I believe in empowerment is because once you ignite power, possibilities, intention in someone, they start to see the world in a different place.
that's fabulous. So, and we identified purpose at the beginning. So we said the things that really, make you happy, non-monetary,
Mm.
the internal things that are for you. So how does that translate into intention? How do I live intentionally?
This is one of my sayings is okay, how do I say this without being rude? Um People oh God, what would be the word?
Just say it. Just
So,
say it. Just say it. Say it.
well, okay, I'll put it this way, right? People can be compulsive liars. Yeah. Now, but the thing that they do, right, is they lie to themselves. Yeah. Like, if you say to a child, oh, I'm going to give you £5, right? And then you don't give that child the £5, guaranteed the child is going to keep on asking you for the £5, right? Like, they are not settled until they get that £5. Okay. Or what happens is, if you don't ever give it to them, then they lose faith and trust in you, right? Okay. And so what you always want to be is a man of your word, right? A man or woman of your word.
Yeah.
So why are we not men and women of our own word? Where is our intention that to ourselves? Why is it okay for me to say, you know what, this is the business that I want to do, and then don't do it? Right? Those are the little things that we do all the time, right? We tell ourselves stuff, but then we don't follow it through. And so you're not a man of your word. And what happens to people who are not a man of their word? You don't trust them. So guess what? You don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself. You're full of lie. You can't believe in yourself, right? You're not living, you're not doing things with intention, because you're just saying stuff. You're not following anything through.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we need to hone in. Intention means that you are a man of your word. What I say I'm going to do, even if I don't know how I'm going to get there, is what I'm going to do. Like, trust the process and make the step. Don't just tell yourself stuff and then don't follow it through, because that means that you're a liar and a cheat and you're not a man of your word.
Excellent. Yeah. And I think we're guilty of that. We, like yeah, it's so true what people do. You have no intention of doing this thing. You're just out there saying it. It's so, so, so true. So, with drawing to a close, okay, what
Yeah.
there's like, I've got like two more questions, okay? And so the first one is, what are your future plans? What is this big plan? Put it out there so that you can be intentional. Let me hear it.
Listen,
Yeah,
girl,
people, I'm moving to Anne Marie. She's going to put it out there. What is the big plan?
my big plan is to reduce the stigma around mental health, especially within the BAME community. That this whole idea of if you chat your business and keeping things to yourself is what is causing us inner turmoil. It's what's causing us to have serious mental health issues, right? You don't just become schizophrenic, right? You don't just have psychosis. It is a buildup of all these different things. And so I want to really reduce that stigma around it so that we can, as you said, spot things before it gets to that level where we're not holding community secrets, holding family secrets. Why? Why should I be silenced over what you've decided to do? You can hold it, have it over there, because I'm not going to be silent around it. So definitely my biggest thing is to reduce the stigma. I still don't understand why there is a GP everywhere. Yeah, like there's more GPs than McDonald's. They're everywhere, right? But we don't have a GP for mental health, mental well-being. Don't understand that. I think it should be accessible, and it shouldn't be so taxing and so hard to tap into.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's very true. It's very, very true. And I say this, right? So my hip, I found out, lovely. And it's like people will, and last year I went through loads of trauma, loads of traumatic experiences, but people still ask me how I am all the time with my hip because you see me limping. And it's almost as though because you see it, I'm feeling it and I'm going through the pain. So you'll constantly ask about it and you'll constantly be thinking, making sure that, am I okay? Do I need help? And it's almost as though that's okay. You can continue to labor and be on that thing because people can still see it. But it's almost as though anything that deals with emotional things or mental things, it's almost as though, oh, what, a year later and you're still not okay? That happened a year ago. You're still not okay. And it's very true. It's almost as though because we can't see it, we don't
Yeah.
appreciate its impact. And you're right. It's actually even worse than physical things because most things start mentally, right?
Yeah, of course. Some people, you can imagine that they're 30 years old. They experienced something traumatic when they were 5 years old. 25 years. 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years. It's really, really sad, to be honest with you. I feel like it should definitely be mental well-being, mental wealth should be taught in schools. It should be supported. It should be a part of childhood development.
And so, in closing, what are your nuggets? So, and I've got a
Um,
question for you. A society has built us in a way where we are supposed to just get over things. Yeah, so true. Particularly mentally, like you say, you can't see it.
yeah.
So, what's
Well, I'm
your
going to tell you, it's
takeaway?
not possible. It's not possible. You can't just get over it. It's impossible. Impossible. And the minute you recognize that actually I might be in pain, I am feeling discomfort, I'm not really feeling happy where I am, I want to do something about it. The
You
minute
have
you
30 seconds remaining.
okay, the minute you recognize it will be the better for you.
It's going to be a very abrupt ending, people, because I didn't
Yeah,
even.
we've got to go. But thank you for coming, and please still put your questions in the comments and I will get back to them.